The HOA president thought she could rule her pristine suburban kingdom with fear, but she made a fatal mistake. She sent 3 hired thugs to threaten a man whose military training allowed him to neutralize all 3 of them in under 3 minutes without even spilling his coffee. Before we dive in, comment which country you're watching from. The veneer of suburban peace is often the most fragile thing we own, and for the residents of Aspen Creek Landing, that illusion shattered one Tuesday afternoon when an iron-fisted HOA president decided to enforce her arbitrary rules with hired muscle. She made a critical error. She sent 3 amateur thugs to threaten a man who had spent his life becoming an absolute master of controlled, brutal combat. This is the story of Elias Thorne, the quiet carpenter who brought a ceramic coffee mug to a biker brawl and then used it to dismantle the entire kingdom of Queen Anya Volkov. For years, Aspen Creek Landing had been a fortress of order, and the Homeowners Benevolent Association, or HBA, under President Anya Volkov, was the unchallenged sovereign. But Elias, a former military man built like a boulder, dared to challenge her nonsensical rules about non-sanctioned livestock, a custom chicken coop, and the height of his retaining wall. When Elias pulled his old pickup into his driveway, he found the price of defiance waiting. 3 massive figures in dark leather vests, emblazoned with crude coiled viper patches, motorcycles idling behind them like caged predators, looming over his wife Valerie near her beloved coupe. Elias stepped out of the truck, the crunch of his work boots slicing the air, and every muscle memory snapped into place. The leader, with a crude boss patch, snarled, "This is HOA business." Elias, holding nothing but a simple ceramic travel mug, responded with chilling calm. "You have 30 seconds to get off my property and explain what this business entails." The biker smirked, fueled by arrogance, and took a menacing step toward Valerie, mistaking Elias's restraint for weakness. It was the last deliberate mistake he'd ever make on that driveway. With a deceptive twist of the wrist, Elias intercepted the man's arm, using the thug's own momentum to drive him, shoulder first, into the hard-packed gravel. He hadn't even spilled his coffee. The remaining 2 froze, their bravado evaporating. The second man swung a desperate haymaker, but Elias simply stepped inside the guard and with an economy of motion, executed a perfect hip toss, launching the substantial biker straight into the chicken coop's wire fence. A frantic, hilarious chorus of clucks and squawks erupted as the man slammed into the galvanized steel. Valerie, leaning against the fence, let a small, tight smirk play on her lips. The last man scrambled to escape on his bike, but Elias calmly walked over, gripped the handlebars, and with a single massive yank, toppled the powerful machine, pinning the man's leg beneath hot chrome and steel. He then delivered his final message, his voice a quiet weapon. "Tell your boss, next time Ms. Volkov wants a message delivered, she better use a notarized letter." Later, Valerie checked her watch. 2 minutes and 58 seconds, she noted, a satisfied smile replacing the smirk. "You shaved 2 seconds off your personal best." Less than an hour later, Anya Volkov herself screeched up, launching into a tirade about assault and property damage. But Elias wasn't a fool. Discreet military-grade security cameras had captured every second. He invited the HOA president into his garage and played the crystal-clear footage, including the audio where the last man howled, "We didn't sign up for this, just a scare job." Anya's face drained of color as her entire plan detonated in her face. The following night at the HOA quarterly meeting, Elias walked straight to the podium, connected his laptop, and played the full video for the entire community. The room, packed with curious and concerned neighbors, went silent as a tomb. When the audio clip of the biker pleading, "The HOA president paid us," rang across the community center, Anya Volkov shot out of her chair, shrieking about editing and context. That was the moment Mr. Davidson, a retired corporate attorney, stood up and read directly from the state code. The use of threat, coercion, or intimidation for the purpose of influencing a person's lawful conduct constitutes criminal coercion, a felony offense. The bikers, in a moment of self-preservation, flipped on Anya, handing over text messages, electronic payment receipts, and even a handwritten message from the Queen of Aspen Creek. By the end of the week, Anya was served with a mountain of legal documents, stripped of her authority and escorted from her pristine, overly regulated home.
The HOA was reformed, and the final irony came weeks later. The same three humbled, bruised bikers were back on Shady Lane performing mandated community service. Elias and Valerie stood on their porch, watching them repair a loose fence post. As long as you remember the rules of engagement, boys, we'll get along just fine. Some people think the Homeowners Association gives them power. Anya Volkov thought she commanded an army. She forgot that some of us have trained to fight back harder than she could ever possibly imagine.